Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Oh no. What happened? So it's just Emil and Yusuf here today. Hi, Yusuf.
Hello.
How you doing? It's a Thursday. We
It
don't
is a
normally record
Thursday.
on Thursdays.
No, but
Weird.
we chose Thursday because Ty is currently out, and so we made it work around Ty. But now we find out Ty is, well,
Incapacitated. He's been taken
incapacitated,
to
if
a
you will.
he's been diagnosed with medical jargon.
He's been taken to a local medical
he's
facility.
he's been hit with the ouch.
Yep.
So,
The big old
um
ouch.
so in the meantime, we're gonna bury the lead and talk about the worst kept rumor in pro wrestling right now. And Raw was on Netflix again because Raw is on Netflix. If you didn't know,
It is?
did you know Raw is on Netflix?
I didn't.
So on Netflix, we have this wonderful program called Raw now, and Raw had the worst kept secret ever. We've been hearing and seeing the logo, not the logo, but we've been hearing about these rumors of Penta for the last month and some change, maybe more. And so now we have the thing that nobody could keep a secret. They put it on Shop like 2 hours before the show. It was kind of hilarious. It's awesome, and Penta's here, and he got Chad Gable, which look at the mask. We rolling? We're here for this, right?
We're rolling. Oh, very much rolling for it. I not that I was skeptical about him coming to WWE because I knew he would be great off the get go. I didn't think it would be that good of a debut. You know what I mean? Like, obviously the worst kept secret, whatever, right? But let's go down. His music hits. They dinge the lights to like that nice tone of red, and when he comes out and he hits the Zero Miedo as he's like taking his jacket off, and you can hear that crowd in San Jose yell it with him, and I'm like, that they know, good, they know what's up. And it worked out perfectly. I think just the overall crowd vibe helped a lot for Penta's debut. He looked great against Chad Gable. Chad Gable is a great worker. Obviously, Penta's a great worker. Great chemistry together. Yeah, this is like one of my more favorite jump the ship debuts for a wrestler that came to WWE. You know what I mean? You're muted.
They
There we go.
they wanted this to be a big deal, right?
Oh yeah.
That was the thing, right? He came in with all this fanfare. He got this huge pop. They talked about all of his things except for that one place,
Yeah, that
over
one
there.
particular up that
Um,
way. Yeah,
they
somewhere.
talk about AAA. They talk about Lucha Underground. Super cool.
Which like
Um,
I think the AAA thing awesome that they're talking about it, especially considering that other company he previously worked for is no longer partnered with AAA. And just the fact that they mentioned Lucha Underground in 2025, love that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It's like, oh, cool. We acknowledge that this happened. Like
Yeah,
this was
it's
like this was
canon,
this moment
right?
in time.
Yeah.
Lucha Underground was super interesting and super different from anything we had seen before. Which there are some things that Lucha Underground had that is being used today with cinema and all that. This was fun. I think I still get confused about how they book debuts, especially with like these stars who are known for like wrestling. I'm like, oh, so we're gonna watch them put on a clinic. Um, he did put on a clinic, but I guess I'm looking for the squash. I don't know what I'm looking for sometimes, so I get really weirded out when these matches are kind of competitive because I'm like, wait, we're supposed to showcase the guy debuting. I'm not supposed to care about Chad Gable, right? Like,
It really depends on the wrestler and it depends on the. I wouldn't say it necessarily depends on the kind of character they are, but very much depends on the wrestler that they bring in. For someone like Penta, if you know about his history through AAA and whatnot, you know he's not necessarily a squash guy, right? So you're not expecting him to come in and squash. Here's the thing: if you remember back in the day when they'd bring in someone new, they would face local talent and
yeah,
they'd be done in like 15 seconds, 30 seconds, right? But no, they gave him Chad Gable, and Chad Gable is an incredible worker, like I said earlier. And I think it was a great spot for Penta to be in that right off the get go. Every fan who doesn't know Penta yet, they just know the name and the mask, can understand, oh, this is what we're going to be getting on a weekly basis from Penta. These great chain wrestling, of course, his whole thing with Lucha Libre, right? But he does also have aggressive side to him. We saw that when he uses his sacrifice arm breaker, right? That cool little
That's a
thing.
gnarly move.
It's a great move.
That's a gnarly move. I like that move.
Um, he'll occasionally pull out a Canadian destroyer if he feels like it, things like that. And then he's got his Penta driver. It's always fun when someone has a pile driver as a finish in 2025. It's a little different, but it's fun. Yeah, it didn't really need to be a squash, nor did it need to be like a 5-star classic, but I think it was just the right amount of this is what we're expecting of this guy for the long run, right? Especially as a singles guy, because obviously Phoenix is stuck doing stuff.
Oops.
Oops. And until his brother gets into WWE, we're going to have a Penta singles run for a while, which will be really cool because people do forget he's a great singles wrestler, just an incredible wrestler in general. And yeah, this was overall, I think, a great debut moment for him.
It's cool because you want more, right? Like you hear
Right.
about you're like they're telling you all of these things about him, like oh he's this, he's that, he's really good, he's been everywhere. He was the most sought after free agent since Jay Cargill or whatever, right? Like I got it. Um, but he withholds himself, and I was like, and again I'm like, dude, I want to see them do their shit, but I get it. We need it to matter. So if he just pulls up and does all of his shit, then what am I waiting for? Like seeing him get into these positions where you slowly see he has to do more and more, and you really see what he's capable of, and then you want to root for him more because you keep seeing the work that he's putting in. So I get it, whatever. But this was awesome. And then he cuts a face promo at the end, which got translated. I don't remember what it got translated to. So I don't know what it got translated to.
Yeah, I don't remember the translation either, but I will say from that promo, again, it helps give Penta a good look to fans that just aren't used to him or have never heard of him, right? And it obviously like nice little promo, and it's him sort of being very thankful for the position that he's in now. That like yeah, at the end of the day, this is the big leagues. Like the WWE is the biggest league of them all, and this is a new era, the Netflix era. Obviously, did you know it's on Netflix? And it's the Penta era, which I'm excited for. Of course, later in the show, Toronto's own Jackie Redmond was talking to Rey Mysterio about Penta's debut, and Rey Mysterio talking about if I'm the best luchador in the world, Penta's number 2. Like, yeah, Penta will at some point probably be up there in like the upper rankings, but you know, aside from that interview, it's helping put him over even further with the fans, right? Like they spent a lot of time making Penta look great for his first night. So good job, WWE.
They did. It was a half hour worth of TV. They got like
Yeah.
a commercial break in there. They had a long 10 minutes. They had a long entrance. They had a long 10 minutes. Like
Yep.
after the commercial, like it was. He got a long 6-minute promo after. Like it was. They gave him time to chill.
Yeah.
They did not go heavy on this Raw at all. And I mean, you can see by the runtime.
Yeah.
We can get into this. I mean, this is something that was brought up too, where Raw was only 2.5 hours. It was under 3. They
Which
can do
was
whatever they
nice.
want. Remember?
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want.
Yep.
It's Netflix. They're not confined. There's nothing after. There's nothing before.
No.
They're cool. They can do whatever they want, and it's kind of nice. 10:30. Like, what else did we need? We didn't need anything else on that show. If the show doesn't need any furthering, you don't gotta further it. That's the
Right,
cool
exactly.
thing about it. If they want
Yeah.
to do a dark match or a dark segment after, send the crowd home because it's only 10:30. That cool.
Yeah. And I think, being on Netflix now and not on cable television really helps that out. Because there were times where, especially when Raw moved back to 2 hours before the Netflix era began, there were complaints from people on the internet, and us included, of, oh, they're not getting everything they can get out of 2 hours just yet. But then sometimes with 3 hours, you go, maybe there's a little too much. And 2.5 hours is that nice in between, like literal in between. But we can't get that on broadcast television, right? So, with Netflix, yeah, they have all the flexibility in the world to do stuff like this. And it's nice that they were able to finish a show in 2.5 hours. It's making me feel like how Triple H has been running their PLEs, in that they can get everything done in 3 hours, which is great. Right? It's time management. How do you get everything you want across in a not a short amount of time, but in an efficient amount of time?
Exactly. It's about being
Yeah.
efficient more than it's about just putting shit on for the sake
Exactly,
of it.
right.
A 7-hour card is a 7-hour card.
Yeah.
It's a lot of wrestling. If I can give the same energy in 2 hours and 30 minutes, I'm picking that every time. I
There you
got shit
go.
to do, man.
Yeah.
Um, oh damn, I had another point about that though. Oh, this is just to kind of also like relax us and settle us until the Mania season, where there's going to be at least two 4-hour overalls.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I would
I
say at
think
most three.
we.
I would say at minimum one, but I'm
Yeah.
thinking two.
But I think people need to get ready to buckle up
There's
because I
gonna
think
be there's gonna
by
be some big rock
March,
promos.
we're getting at least like a 3.5 hour, maybe a 4 hour Monday Night Raw. Like we
We're
got
gonna
to be ready for that.
hit some long runs, man. It's
Oh
gonna
yeah.
they're gonna be fun. So right now we can chill. We don't want anyone to get hurt.
Yeah.
Um, on the way to the Rumble because that would just ruin everything. Moving on from that, we're gonna move on. There was a women's IC title that has been crowned. I was so dead set on this being Dakota Kai. I'm a little sad that it's not, but it is Lyra Valkyria. How are we
Which
feeling
I
about it?
mean, honestly, either person was a good choice. This isn't. I don't think I didn't see this as a situation of the wrong person won. This is very much a either person could have won and everyone would be happy regardless of the outcome. Because you
Yeah,
have Dakota Kai who's been here forever and she's done her job. She's been injured a lot too, so she's missed a lot of time. And her getting the title would have been her getting her flowers of like, hey, we know you've been here a while and you haven't really gotten it yet, but here's it. I think Dakota eventually wins the title later on down the road, somewhere this year. And with Lyra Valkyria, coming out of NXT, there was only so much expectation for her, but there were also at the same time a lot of expectations. The way they package her, the way they handle her appearance and everything in the ring has been, yeah, WWE is taking good care of Lyra Valkyria because they want her to be something special, right? So for her to be the new women's IC champ, awesome, love that. It reigns in another half of a new era in this women's mid card division. Considering on SmackDown we've got Chelsea Green, who's now the U.S. champ or has been a U.S. champ. So yeah, I thought it was cool, fun little match. Nothing crazy, obviously, but at the end of the day, good for Lyra, and I hope she holds it for a while.
big agree.
Yeah,
Big agree. I have nothing else to say on that. You kind of
yeah,
you hit all my points for me. Lyra is. I want to say like, I mean they gave her like Queen of the Ring finals. Like
mm,
she was like she had a year last year. She came in with some fanfare. I feel
yeah.
like I don't know where she went, and now she's all of a sudden here with a belt, and I'm like, all right, but like Dakota Kai also doesn't necessarily deserve a belt. I mean, she's had kind of a
No,
year. I think she got hurt. Like there
she's
was a
been
lot
hurt
of
a few times, right?
there
So
was
yeah,
some things that happened. So I mean, like,
yeah,
but I would have preferred Dakota Kai win this match.
yeah.
Eh,
It's nice. That's fair. It's nice though that we're in a situation where they've introduced two new titles, and neither are being held by like a big five name in the
Yeah,
company that
it's
isn't already
nice.
holding a title.
It's
It's
nice
nice.
because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people in the main event scene, so the mid card can kind of flourish with some people who really should be doing something. Naomi,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
still
she's.
upset.
I mean, she's.
I'm upset.
I know you're upset.
It just seems weird, man. Like
Yeah.
she's like hasn't really won. What's the move? That's all I'm saying. Let's talk about these moves though. Yo, Gunther, man,
Oh boy.
Gunther, and he cuts a great heel promo. About how he's like the best in the ring, everybody else is ass. Um, and yet there may not be some focus, and everybody needs to focus on the heavyweight champion. And then here comes Jay to
Yeah.
yeet everywhere.
Lots
But
of
then he
heat.
started crashing out, and I'm here for this. So when when he gets serious, yo, Jay, that's that guy. That's that main event Jay Uso right there. This yeet bullshit, like it's fine. Like I like it. I love it. It's funny. It's great. He's entertaining. Whatever. But when he hits crash out Jay, man, he's working. And so Jay is looking for a number one contendership, which he I guess has earned for Saturday night's main event the weekend before the Rumble. Let's be honest here. Nothing exciting is happening on this Saturday night's main event.
No.
Saturday night's house show. So Jay's losing, but it'll be fun. It's always fun to buy into Jay, and it always hurts when he loses, which just makes Gunther that much of a better heel because we don't want to cheer that.
I mean, so yeah, But also, how do I want to tie this into the conversation we were having about Jey Uso a few days ago in our group chat
Oh Lord,
because oh yeah, that might take a while, but it
I did think about Jey Uso when this promo was going on.
I'm
I did.
yeah
I did. I was like,
yeah
that this seems
a
rather
little
pointed.
yeah almost incredibly
Is
pointed.
Gunther in our group chat, bro?
I think so. I think he knows what we're.
Damn,
Damn, he knows. Gunther sees what we're saying, bro.
Gunther, we see you.
Yeah, we
We
see
see you.
you. What's up? What's up, bro? Please don't hurt us. But for Jey Uso to come out and basically claim number one contendership, I don't entirely know how I feel about that. Because yes, he is incredibly over all the time, yeeting everywhere, and wearing the sunglasses and more yeeting, I guess. But it the it begs the question: what has he done recently that sort of justifies him wanting to come out and be like, "Yo, I'm going to be your new number one contender." Like he got a roll up win on Drew McIntyre last week on the debut
He
Raw
won
on
War
Netflix.
Games.
He did win
They
War Games.
he won the other match that they
Yeah,
had.
but it's a matter of he's done stuff is what's important.
He did have an IC title for like 2 seconds.
A hot minute, yeah. But I mean, coming off of last week, going into now, it the problem with Jey Uso, especially when like major events are coming up, he happens to put himself or like they put him in a situation where he's like in a massive title shot, and now it's 99% of the time because the only time we didn't see it coming was when he actually won the IC title from Braun Breaker. But 99% of the time, we all kind of know he's not winning. No, there's no way he's dethroning Gunther, right? And then that brings the question of something Gunther brought up in his promo after Jey Uso came out. He was basically berating Jey for like 5 minutes, and at the end of it was like, "You're not even close to being a main event star. You're nothing but a tag team guy." And when he said that, I thought about our conversation of like, "Huh, what if Jey Uso's actually not all that we think about?" Because here's the thing: as a character, Jey Uso's great. As a hype man, great. Great on getting crowd over. He's great on the mic. When he's in crash out mode, like Emil said, 100%. We are all in, right? All the chips are in on Jey Uso. But Gunther's whole thing, he doesn't give a shit about promos. Gunther doesn't give a shit about the professional part of professional wrestling. He cares about the wrestling part of professional wrestling. And he, at the end of the day, does not deem Jey Uso worthy of being in the same ring with him. And granted, now, while in story, we've had a conversation in our group chat about this like for a few days now of is Jey Uso actually a great wrestler overall or is he just a really good promo? Because as as a singles guy, mind you, specifically as a singles wrestler, because obviously as a tag team with Jimmy, like they're arguably top three greatest tag teams of all time, maybe top two, right? But as a singles guy,
So I have a hot take here.
all right, hit it.
Tyler would hate this,
Hit
and it
it.
kind of makes me like it more.
Okay.
If we're gonna put Jey Uso in these top lists that we're putting him in, we have to put Enzo Amore in those same categories. Let it marinate, sit on it, understand that this is the truth. Regardless of Enzo Amore's actions outside the ring, which are deplorable, the tag team of Enzo and Cass was supposed to be the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Supposed to be. So let's say that in this alternate universe where Enzo isn't a weirdo and they're still a tag team and they're this really good tag team, right? They're just as over. They're just as over.
Mm-hmm.
Enzo is that good. He yelled his promo off a microphone, and the whole crowd said it with him. They're there. They were there. It was there. So if you're gonna put Jey Uso up there, Enzo Amore is up there. Both are trashola in the ring. Big poop, garbage, sewer. Great on the stick
Okay.
though.
I think I'm. I gotta. I think I. I don't want to agree with you, but I think I have to. Like, it's a fair point. Crazy comparison to Enzo, but like when you put it the way you've put it, yeah, everything makes sense. Like when you look at Enzo and Cass, they should have been the biggest tag team in professional wrestling with just how over those two were. Enzo was great on the mic, right? Everyone knew that. He's arguably maybe like top five promos in the last 15 years in WWE. And then obviously his actions are his actions, but like, when he went on a singles run after him and Cass split up and then he did his whole cruiserweight thing, right? It feels like it's the same conversation we're having now about Jay. So like, okay, I get you. I get you. I'm rolling. Kind of crazy, but I'm rolling.
I came to pod today, man. We came to
You
pod
did.
today.
We came to pod.
I knew I so that happened. There's some other shit that went down on this Raw. There was a Rhea Ripley promo. Um, Rhea is back outside. That's basically what she's saying. She said, "I'm here. I got a belt. I'm ready. Fuck all that shit. We're here now." Nia Jax comes out. Love it.
Love it.
Love it. I'm into it. Nia cuts a really good heel promo. I was like kind of like, "Oh, okay. I'm rolling. I'm here." She bought me and good for her. And then here comes Bailey, who is in the crowd, of course. Bailey in her hometown. Bailey comes in and decides to chop it up with them. Nice little three-way promo. Really liking that three-way promos. I see what we're doing here. Bailey comes out and is playing the role of CM Punk, calling her dumb. And um, at the end of the day, Nia ends up outside the ring, and Rhea and Bailey are in the ring together. Anyone else notice Bailey going to reach for the belt? Anyone saw that? Anyone saw that?
Oh, I didn't notice that.
I saw that because his
Okay.
belt was on the ground, and Bailey didn't want to step on it, so she was about to pick it up and hand it to Rhea, and Rhea got down with her, and I was like, "Oh, what is that?" Because now I have to look at things and go, "What is that?" But cool. This is fun. I like this little three-way. It putting Rhea in the Nia Bailey feud opens up more options because Nia and Bailey is a little played out.
I had to adjust my microphone. Anyway, it's fun mainly because okay, Rhea's champ again. Now what? Is Nia the answer? Is Bailey the answer? We don't know yet, especially with the Rumble coming up, which makes everything all the more fun when the Rumble comes up. I do have to give Nia Jax her flowers and an apology because she has improved so much, both in ring and on the stick, since she got back, and it's great. We acknowledge, Nia Jax as our tribal chief. Wait, but yeah, the promo was fun. Bailey's involvement in like everything is kind of interesting because on the Night Raw she comes out to help Rhea and get in Nia's face again. She was on NXT the night after, cutting a promo on Roxanne. So we're seeing a lot
Which
of
ended in a
Bailey,
brawl, which was
which
also
ended in a
really,
brawl.
really good.
Love that, yeah.
Really great
So,
segment. Fantastic.
incredible promo, so much fun. But we're seeing a lot of Bailey kind of just running around everywhere in the WWE, and it's really, I think, helping a lot of people remember that yeah, Bailey's that good. Like she's got a women's title match coming up this week that she won a contenders match for on SmackDown, and Nia's probably going to get involved in that. So we'll see Bailey around a lot more on Monday Night Raw, on NXT, obviously on SmackDown. But yeah, it was a fun little promo. With Rhea Ripley, it's like, what the hell do you do now? Because obviously the Liv story is over. So what do we do with Rhea from now till Mania?
Rhea's moving on.
Yeah.
Thank God. So are we though, and
Yeah.
we're moving. And this is where we have to talk about the drizzling shits of the show. Are we rolling? Are we rolling with this street fight? This street fight was bad, right? Are we confused?
I'm gonna be honest. I skipped through maybe about the first 10 minutes of it.
So this match got booked for why?
'Cause, yeah,
Like I thought
that,
we
that,
I
that
thought we
that's the
did this
thing.
already.
right. And that's my reason. Like, I don't like skipping through matches, but did we need to do another Finn Damian match? Did it need to be a street fight? We all thought this feud was over. It feels like we're going back to. You remember, like, back in the day, in like the mid late 2000s, both on TV and also in the video games, when a feud was ending, it would always be a gimmick match.
Oh yeah,
Like almost always. It's just that
yeah.
all over
Hell in a
again. And I'm
Cell.
like, yeah, or something, you know, or like no DQ or extreme something like that, right? It just feels like that again with Finn and JD. Sorry, and with Finn and Damien, and I'm just so we're all just tired of it. Like Damien, move on. You could just be like, I'm done with Finn. I don't want to waste my time dealing with him again. And I guess you could kind of say that was the whole way this match ended. So they fight on the outside, right? This is the part I actually caught. They fight on the outside, and Damien hits Finn with a falcon arrow off like a concourse stairway onto a
Oh, that was
table.
crazy.
That
That
was
actually
cool.
looked really
That was a
cool.
great spot. Yeah.
That was awesome.
And then
I thought they were gonna get up.
I also thought they were gonna get up, but then they put Finn in a stretcher and like a neck brace and everything, and they're like
This is
wheeling
where
him
we
off.
start to overbook.
Yeah, and it got like awkwardly quiet for a bit, and I'm like, is he actually hurt? I can't tell now. Why is no one talking? So they get Finn up to the ramp, and I'm like, oh, I guess this match is over? Maybe? And then Damien
Nope.
has this like look of evil in his eyes, and he goes, what if I go full 2009 Randy Orton and just take this man off a stretcher? And he did.
He was on Demon Time, so
Oh yeah, he was on
apparently,
Big Demon Time.
apparently, you can rip him off of the little gurney, and you can just keep him strapped in and take him for a ride.
Yeah,
So they kept beating him up, and then all of the cameos happened. This felt very bloodliney.
a little,
This felt a little bloodliney to
a
me,
little.
with just people that I didn't care about. Like it just
No.
was less fun than a
Yeah.
bloodline match.
That's the thing is like they
But
even
that's
like
that's me glazing because
yeah,
I'm whatever.
Judgment Day gets involved, and you're like, maybe Finn actually wins this match, and then Damien's like, I will overcome all dumb things and be even dumber than this, and still somehow win. And then he won, and I was like, okay, if I hear in like 2 weeks' time that we're getting another Finn JD match, I'm going to lose my marbles.
They're gonna fuck around with each other in the Rumble,
Yeah, right. And then hopefully that's that. Like, please let that be it.
and then it'll lead to their WrestleMania match.
For some reason, it's a ladder
No,
match. It's custody of Carlito and JD.
it's custody of Dominic.
It is custody of. It's always
I, I
custody of
do I
Dominic
do I do
or
enjoy
Dominic.
Finn. There, I did notice some of these backstage segments where Finn's kind of being like this disappointed dad
Yeah,
to Dom, and I'm like, oh, look at how easily like he just falls into the cool dad role,
yeah,
just like fucking Damien did.
no.
As soon as he gets like his own little space to sign, he immediately just becomes cool dad. I'm like, this is great.
It works for him too. Weirdly enough, it works for him. But yeah, I let this feud be over, please. This was more than enough. The Judgment Day also kind of needs to just like, you know, I think it's time.
So some other shit that went down on this. So Sami Zayn had this interesting promo cut on him, where they were wondering what has Roman done for you? Had because you always have to do you're doing this for Roman, right? And it was a really interesting promo that we all probably knew, and but we never really wanted to believe and think about because we love the chemistry, we love the vibes. So we don't want to ruin it. But when you say it just so bluntly like that, and everybody just went, "Damn," and Sammy had no response. Sammy had no
It's
response.
it's that promo makes everything so much more interesting because, and we'll get to the McIntyre thing in a second, but we're working kind of all over the place here. Yeah, at the end of the day, why is Sammy still helping Roman? Because the assumption everyone had was that he was doing Jay a favor. Yes, him and Roman, kind of reconciled. Sammy
I think you
acknowledged his
love
tribal
me.
chief again. Yeah. Basically,
I think you
I think
love
you love
me.
me.
Hug me. Oh my god.
And so, yeah, why did Sammy still help Roman regain the falafel? You know, like what? Why? And also at the
Yeah.
end of the day, you know, it's like the cameos of that tribal combat match with Roman and Solo. There's reasons as to why these people appear. Why Sammy still appears? Yeah, people are going to assume. Yeah, well, he's still part of the bloodline, but the bloodline's not really doing anything together now. Roman's on his own. Jimmy's on his own. Jay's on his own. Sammy's on his own, right? So
But
what's
but they all
going
kind
on
of just
there?
keep entering each other's storyline
Right,
and then leaving it
and then
and
leaving
then
it,
coming back.
and yeah, and but the craziest part to me is that how so much of the current product, especially in the main event scene, revolves around Roman Reigns on both shows. On SmackDown, you have Kevin Owens who's trying to murder Cody Rhodes, mainly because Cody worked with Roman Reigns, even though Kevin was like, "I helped you end Roman Reigns. Why
All
are you
roads lead
lead
to
to
Roman.
Roman?" And then earlier on Raw this week, we didn't get to it, but I do want to talk about a very important part of this. There was a segment between CM Punk, Seth Rollins
I I,
that
I I
opened the
was
show.
I was I, I was I was getting there.
Okay. Well, we're here now, so here we are. Anyway, my bad. Regardless, him and Punk are talking about whatever, and Rollins, as usual, is like, "I hate you," ha 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 ha, so usual jargon. And then Drew McIntyre comes out, and Drew's like, "Yeah, Punk, I'm not here for you. I'm here for him. Hey, Seth, where were you last week? Why didn't you get involved in tribal combat to help make sure that Roman doesn't get the falafel again? Considering Seth always talks about being a leader and all these things. Where were you? You were too busy being selfish and worrying about your little match with CM Punk. You couldn't take time to show up and help make sure that Roman didn't win? Because Drew did, right?
That was such a logical move
It really
that I
was.
didn't think of. I didn't
Hmm.
even think about Seth Rollins going to that tribal chief match or that tribal combat match because I was like,
Right.
no, why? If I had saw that as a prediction, I would have been like, for what?
Yeah, for what, right? But then you think
But
about it more,
yeah, then it's like, wait a
right?
minute, weren't you
Yeah,
supposed to be the bloodline slayer? Weren't you supposed to be the one who tried
yeah.
to take him out? Weren't you the one who like sacrificed yourself so that we could take down the empire?
Isn't it
That is,
literally your fault that Roman is this like eater
yeah,
of
isn't this
worlds?
your problem?
This
Why
is
are we
your
here?
problem.
Why
Yeah,
are we here?
right. And
This
what gets me is the end of that segment. McIntyre's like, "Oh, does everyone want a triple threat right now with the three of us?" And I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." So Drew walks over to the ring, stops, and goes, "Nah,
no.
I'm gonna go because there's bigger fish to fry. Roman Reigns needs to be stopped." And Drew says this so well, and I love this as like a last line. Roman Reigns is playing chess while we're all playing checkers. We gotta figure
AKA
this out.
AKA we're fucking around and we're
Yeah,
not noticing what's going on.
yeah, we're not
We're
noticing the
asleep right now.
problem. Yeah,
We're
it's
asleep right now.
like
Roman Reigns
everyone,
is still the biggest villain in the company.
right? Everyone thinks
It's
that. Oh, Cody,
crazy.
and I love it though. I love it. Everyone thinks that when Cody won at WrestleMania 40 in the main event, it was over. The reign of reign of terror of Roman Reigns is done. Okay, it's great. And then he came back, and after he came back, you start to notice everyone's skepticism about him being back and trying to be this good guy and stop the bloodline. Because Roman never actually said he was here to be the savior of WWE.
Dude, even
Roman,
Cena's noticing it.
yeah,
Like Cena
yeah,
is like in a web of this whole thing. Like
yep,
everybody somehow has a tie to this story.
yep.
It's
And
impossible to escape.
of all things, and the point is made. The one guy at the root of all of this whole situation, besides Roman, is Seth Rollins. So Drew brings up a good point. Where were you? Kevin Owens came out. Yeah, Sami Zayn came out, but to help Roman. Where were you, Seth?
It's
Right?
valid.
Like Seth Rollins, and remember, Drew McIntyre has a very good point about this too, because if you think back to night 2 of WrestleMania 40, Seth Rollins, despite losing the World Heavyweight title that night to open the show, still came out in the main event of WrestleMania in Shield gear to try and stop Roman Reigns. But on Monday Night Raw, on the debut episode of Netflix era, Seth Rollins was too busy worrying about CM Punk that he couldn't flip it around.
So here the logic I guess on the other side is, well, like, I'm not gonna spend all my time thinking about this one guy. I got shit to do, man. Like
Right. I got
I'm
shit
not
to do.
gonna let
Yeah.
one person hold my entire life up or hold up this entire place. This place isn't just one person. I work here too. Those fans singing, those are fans of me singing. They came to see me just as much as they came to see him. They came to see me even though they know he's not here. I don't know what that means, but like still, like they, you know what I mean? So, um, at this like weird obsession that Drew gets, where he gets really hyper focused on somebody, like he was hyper focused on CM Punk, to the point where everybody was like, "Dude, you're like killing yourself. Like you're all that hate, and it's like it's gonna burn you up, not just keep you warm. Like it's interesting. I like it.
Yeah. The situation is very interesting, and I'm again, everything leads up to Mania, right? We're almost in full gear to the road to WrestleMania. When the Rumble hits, that's when it really starts to sink in. But it's going to be very interesting how everything, especially all the main stories of the main event scene, are played out between now and WrestleMania. Because it seems like everything, no matter what, revolves around Roman Reigns.
So when are we gonna get the Avengers finally smashing the shit out of him?
Maybe this is the year.
Or or does he turn and Cody is the big bad?
Cody is, yeah. Who
Um,
knows? That's exciting,
so
though.
so
So,
so the obviously the show opened with Punk declaring his Rumble spot.
yeah.
Rollins being all boohoo with his little cute makeup black eye. Um, they want to ruin each other's dreams as per usual, and then of course we hit the McIntyre part where it was Rollins and all the things that we just talked about, and that was Raw again, 2.5 hours, lovely
Great.
little show on a Monday.
Great. Can't complain about that.
You know, it wasn't a lovely show on a Wednesday. Apparently,
Yeah,
I didn't
apparently.
watch it because I watched the week before on Max. Because so this is something that I wanted to bring up on the Raw, the first Raw on Netflix podcast that we did. We also are completely ignoring how in tune pro wrestling is with the future of distribution. Because not only is there going to be WWE that's fully on Netflix for almost everybody except for North America, or US,
Yeah.
and AEW starting to slowly move into that Max scene. That's fantastic. Max is super huge with all of their content. I wouldn't say they're bigger than Netflix. They're not, but they may be bigger than Peacock. Game of Thrones sells, man, and so this is really cool for pro wrestling. There are two major North American companies that can be streamed to video on demand pretty much immediately. Although AEW is behind by like 2 weeks, so I couldn't watch this
Yeah.
week's episode for like 2 weeks, which
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna do.
No.
So I watched last week on Max, and my God, what a bad show!
Yeah.
Like, especially after watching Raw on Netflix, and I had watched NXT. I've been pretty tapped in right now, and I've been watching the shows and seeing Dynamite after watching Raw and NXT. I was like, this is garbage. It looks bad, it feels bad, it sounds bad.
So, moving my mic over a little bit. I just want to get closer to the camera. How do I politely put this in like the nicest way possible? AEW doesn't know what the hell's going on anymore. They're fucking lost. Like it. So, I didn't watch the whole show, but I watched like bits and parts and caught whatever I could of Dynamite, and everything like Jeff Jarrett is out here being like, "Hey, I'm retiring in a year. Like I just signed my last contract." And he's like, "I want the AEW World Title." But then for some reason he's now in a feud with MJF, who a lot of people are saying, and I don't know if you can agree with this or not, but a lot of people are really seeing this as a massive fall off for MJF. Guy
Huge,
goes from being the longest reigning world AEW
huge
World
fall off.
Champion in the history of their company to having, he was gone for a bit, and then this horrible feud with Adam Cole to this.
I would be so bold as to say he made the wrong bet.
Yeah,
I
I
would be as
I
bold to
don't
say that.
wanna I don't
He
wanna
made the
100%
wrong
say it
bet.
yet, but
He made the
ooh,
wrong bet. That sucks.
yeah,
AEW was like, yay, ha 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 ha, but we're not gonna do anything either. Oh, yeah, nah,
yeah,
eh, huh,
exactly.
no.
No,
So
okay,
this is fucking ridiculous. He's gonna wipe the floor with Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett is who he is. No offense to Jeff Jarrett.
yeah,
I actually think this is pretty cool. Again, like this just is the testament to modern pro wrestling. Way less house shows,
yeah.
way better science. Everybody's healthy these days. Like drugs are not what they used to be. In these industries, alcohol is not what it used to be in these industries. Uh, and so everybody's healthy and everybody's in their 40s, 50s. And Jeff Jarrett, I think, just turned what, 60? We're being able to wrestle far beyond what we probably should be able to wrestle to. Back in the day, we would look at whoever's 37 and be like, they're about to tap. That's it.
Jeff
Now
Jarrett is
30,
57.
now
Right?
37 is like you're barely started. Cody just won
Yeah,
his first title. He's almost 40.
yeah,
He turns 40 this year, and he said he was going to be done at 40.
yeah.
I'm
So
saying, man, like wrestling is turning into an older man's game.
it really
It,
is.
it's a which is cool, right? And but huge fall off for MJF. Terrible, terrible,
Yeah,
terrible moves.
yeah. It just um, like I said, this dude was the face of the company for a year plus as AEW World Champion, right? Being called like the next big talent of this generation. Like he's a generational superstar, great in the ring, and he will go down as one of the greatest promos in history when he's done.
Top five.
But, oof, Maron, you're putting him in a feud with Jeff Jarrett for what exactly? Because the problem I see right now in AEW, it's been a problem for too long, and you know this, and Ty knows this, that I've been talking about this on the show. There's too many cooks in the world title scene or picture, really. It's like I want the world title, I want the world title, and everyone's like
So
me.
yes, but here's the thing, right? There's a
Okay,
lot of viable options for WWE
right,
for people to hold the world title. The world title. I'm gonna use Gunther's title because there's more
yeah,
people over there than who can hold Cody's jockstrap right
fair
now.
enough. Yeah,
Uh, but they all kind of are in these other little feuds with each other, and everybody's kind of accidentally gets off on a side mission, and then Gunther kind of just gets to stand there and watch all the destruction happen, which is kind of cool. He's like this menacing character
yeah,
that we don't see a ton. What I'm saying is WWE is handling that struggle well because there's a lot of
yeah.
people who can hold that title, but they're not just being like, I want the world title. Over in AEW, it's just, I want the world title. Darby was the one, and then everybody else said, nah. So we came in as well, and here we are.
Well, so the problem becomes everyone's like, I want the world title, but AEW's been, well, before the year ended, they were pushing the narrative that Darby was going to be the guy to dethrone John Moxley. They've been kind of like hinting at it and kind of like poking it in our faces. It's like something happens, the Death Riders attack someone, Darby Allin comes to make the save. Oh my god. Because we know it's not going to be Orange Cassidy at this point, right? And then they
Sad.
have sad, honestly,
Big sad.
big sad. And it's been more or less implied it's going to be Darby. It's probably going to be Darby. Blah 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 blah. And then Darby, they injured him in the C2 tournament, and everyone's like, okay, but that's not. Why isn't he in the world title shot at World's End then? What about, okay? And then, as we started this year, but the Death Riders are just like, LOL, we're still here, because apparently Cope has dibs right now on John Moxley, but then
Bro,
Jeff Jarrett's like, I want the title, and then everyone else is like, I want the title too, and you're just like, this is going to take forever if Darby is the plan, Everyone's already gotten sick of the Death Riders,
Well, Darby
and
has to go to Everest,
Darby's taking time off to go to Mount Everest.
so he's gonna go climb a mountain,
Yeah,
so he can climb the mountain and waste all of our goddamn time.
yeah.
Orange
It
Cassidy was right there.
He really was.
He was right there.
I
Brought back the
forgot about
Pixies
this, but
theme.
yeah, I
Like,
forgot. I was reminded about this when I was at World's End. Is Christian still has a shot at the world title? Like he
nobody
has a
wants to
little,
remember that though,
yeah, no one.
which is
Will.
kind of okay, which
Yeah,
makes it that much more exciting when he wins.
it really does, doesn't it?
He's gonna win it.
I think so. Right?
He's
Yeah,
gonna win it, but they have like 7 other stories right now, so they're trying to just figure out how they can weasel him in there.
yeah, exactly. And so there's so many cooks, and AEW doesn't really know what to do with all the cooks other than just like sprinkle them elsewhere.
Bullshit.
Yeah, and to the topic of, since you mentioned Jeff Jarrett and his age, especially, that the fact that people are still able to do this in their 50s now is great. It's a great time for wrestling. Um, I don't know how I feel about Cope, Adam Copeland, the rated R Coper star, Edge, basically making himself kind of the number one contender to Mox, but hasn't made that official. Because this past week on Dynamite, Mox retained the title against Powerhouse Hobbs, who won a battle royal to get a shot at him. God damn it, I kind of wish.
Which, like, why?
Yeah,
Why?
I mean,
Why do all
Hobbs
that?
looks great.
Do we just need to just kill some TV time? Was that
I
the goal?
don't know, man. Because, I don't want to say it wastes a talent like Hobbs. I love Powerhouse.
No, I actually would say that's not a waste for Hobbs. I would say
Yeah.
that's a waste for John Mox, but
Yeah.
like, it
But
can be a
it
waste for
just-
one, but not for the other.
Right.
John
okay,
didn't
fair.
get anything out of that.
No, not at all. And so it's like, okay, how long are we going to keep running the new contender shows up, tries to beat Mox, Death Riders kills people, Mox wins LOL, until someone actually pins Mox? And, I've been really ringing in the point, and a lot of people have been ringing this in too, that maybe it's time to pivot away from Darby.
Pivot, you fools!
Yeah.
That's what
it
the
is
note says.
time, basically, yes. It's time to pivot. The likely answer that a lot of people want is the obvious one, that being Kenny Omega. Just find some way to get him involved, but now
he's got to move up
busy
slowly.
now. Yeah, he's got to kind of work.
He's got
I
to
think
fight the Don Callis group.
Yeah.
So
and
much yawn,
Well, it also just it
and
annoys
then
me
Will
because they're doing
Ospreay's
the
so much yawn.
they're doing the can they coexist thing with Kenny and Will, of like, oh, great rivals, can they work together to beat Don Callis' family? The answer is yes. They're two of the fucking greatest wrestlers on planet Earth. We know they'll do it. The whole can they coexist thing, they'll figure it out. Fine, just pull that story. Let this end fast. We're gonna get a banker of a tag match with Ospreay and Omega versus probably Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita at what's the next pay-per-view coming up? At Revolution, right? We're probably getting that.
Yeah.
That'll be a banger of a match. Everyone's gonna fucking love that shit, right? After that is done, one of those two guys, one of Kenny or Will, you just go, you, world title, go. Because
Will
I
would
don't
be
know
nice.
Will would be. I think Will would be a great pick because
They
you have
they got me so emotionally
much more.
invested.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's just for everything they had Will do last year. 'Cause that man was putting on some bangers last year. That man was doing
Classics.
a lot. Right. It only makes sense, but people are already getting not already. People have been sick and tired of this whole Death Rider story. It's just gotten stale. We can't wait any longer for Darby to be the guy. Darby can win the world title one day. We all know he's.
We don't got time for that.
We don't got time for that though. We
Ain't
don't got
energy for
time.
that.
It's taking too long. Make it make sense, please, AEW. If you are listening, which
I will
maybe
say,
you are. I know Tony's on the internet a lot. So.
I will say that one of the most creative decisions that AEW may has ever made is how they took off Rampage by having Death Riders just blow it up.
That was funny. I
with
will give them
fire.
that. That was, yes,
I don't know if
lots of
that was fire.
fire.
I just heard that they
They
like just
they
destroyed the
basically
set.
like broke into the production truck and they're like, shut it all down, shut it all down, and then the camera just goes black and it's like that's the end of Rampage forever.
Oh well, that's much less exciting than what I
I
thought it
know,
was.
yeah.
Damn, I
Explosions
wanted
and
my version.
fire.
I think my version was fire. My version actually would have made the booking like really look
A
really good.
production truck is just on fire.
No, the ring,
Oh, that would be sick. Yeah. Oh well.
big fire.
Big fire. Oh well.
Oh well.
So yeah, now we're
So
in a situation with AEW where they kind of need to do something because every story in that company right now is very much big yawn. So
so on the other side of the world, aka actually we're still in America. We're not going to Japan.
no.
There's TNA, and TNA has made a multi-year partnership with the WWE that will feature talent swaps and now potentially co-branded events, beginning with TNA Genesis featuring NXT.
Yeah.
This show takes place in like a week.
Yeah.
I
They're
didn't know
probably gonna
that.
have
That's cool.
they're probably gonna have NXT talent show up because I don't think anyone's actually slated from NXT to be on that show. But cool, they made it official. You know?
That's sick. I mean, we've been kind of doing these like cute little trades anyway.
Yeah.
But like now it's like, oh, hey, this is like official. Like we can just do this. There's a deal. Whatever. Everybody gets
There's
paid.
a deal
Cool.
involved. TNA has really. I'm very happy for TNA as a company. Like they've made their way back up.
They're really cool right now. They're a
You know,
really cool little
they're cool.
niche.
They're fun. Yeah, like good for them. They deserve maybe not the world, but they deserve the happiness. You know,
They do deserve happiness.
they do
The
deserve
world, no.
happiness. No, no. But with this deal officially, well, official, right? We're going to more than likely see some co-branded events in the future. Obviously, the talent swap thing they did for a while, that they didn't do that for a hot minute, and then I think it helps that they had the reigning Knockouts champion Masha Slamovich on NXT earlier this week, which I thought was pretty cool. Like, oh, hey, what are you doing here? Huh, that's interesting. Okay, we're getting back to the TNA thing, and now that's announced, like, all right, awesome. So expect probably some TNA names to show up at
This
the Rumble.
I was gonna say this just
Yeah,
opens up Rumble opportunities that we all want and we're all waiting for
holy
and we're all
bro.
gonna love.
Yep.
If you don't know, I can't help you out, bro. I just can't help you
Yeah,
out,
exactly.
man.
Like,
I just don't know. If you can't pick up, man, don't even
yeah,
get on the court.
no.
Um,
But yeah, it's going to be fun going forward, especially that it's an official partnership. Like it's not just a random. Oh, well, it was random for a bit, but now it's like official. Because now we could see the potential of a proper TNA versus WWE or more than likely NXT, but WWE show. With this, there's the chance of not only just NXT talent but main roster talent going to
Cody,
TNA.
Cody,
Cody,
Cody, send Cody.
Which by the way, if you didn't know your history, TNA Impact is where Kingdom debuted.
I think Cody was also paid one of the ladies more than TNA did for a
Yes,
match. I think at one point. So,
I think so. So,
yeesh.
yeesh. But
Yeesh.
yeah, Kingdom did debut into TNA, but we could who never know, you never know. We could see world champion Cody, AJ Styles maybe comes back to TNA for one night only. Who knows? Right? Lots of fun there.
Corey Graves has been all over the internet the last week. He's been pulled from SmackDown. He didn't get to go to Raw. He got pulled from Raw because Pat McAfee's back, obviously. And he's mad. He got to do a 3-man for NXT, and then he wasn't on NXT. So he is currently, we don't know what's going on. Is he working us? Is it real? Is he 2006 Joey Styles? Who knows? I don't know. I have no thoughts because there's nothing.
Yeah,
I
there's
can't have
no,
thoughts on
there's
this.
only right. That's
It's
the thing, right?
funny. Like I'm kind of giggling.
Yeah.
I would be mad too. I actually
Well,
kind of
yeah.
thought about that when I was like, wait a minute, if because they had announced Wade and Test were going
And
to
Joe are
SmackDown,
doing SmackDown
and
now.
then obviously we knew Cole and McAfee were doing Raw
Yeah.
on
So the
Netflix.
question
So it
was,
was
where's
like
Corey
I was
going
like, wait,
after?
what? I was like, wait, what about Corey?
Yeah, like he has to be going to NXT.
Corey's the odd man out. He's every man. He's the third wheel, and
Yeah.
that really sucks for somebody who works so hard to create his own identity,
Yeah.
who kind of got lost. I would somewhere venture to say around the COVID. He
Yeah.
had a child. Yeah, I think there was some romantic court things that were going on. I
Yeah.
don't really know. And then obviously Pat McAfee came, and that
Yeah.
really changed the game because Pat McAfee is a heel, and
Yeah.
he's more fun.
He is. He
Like
is more
he's more
fun.
fun. He's I mean Corey is wonderful at his job, but like I'm so like I got to pick between Corey Graves and Pat McAfee.
Right.
Whew. I reluctantly am going to always pick Pat McAfee, and that really hurts. So I get where he's coming from. So if this is a shoot, yeah,
Yeah.
I get
You
it.
gotta.
I don't know what they're gonna do. I think they may just let him air out his grievances and kind of see what happens. Because we know real turns to story, story turns to money,
Yeah.
and there could be a timeline where this turns into Corey Graves being cleared, put him back in the ring, and you get to put him with Pat Mack and just have a fun
Yeah. Just
fucking
have
time
fun,
in Las
right? Like
Vegas,
that. That would be a good time.
and just everybody laugh and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Um, maybe
It's.
see if Stone Cold can come referee it so Pat can take
Yeah.
another stunner with the
Yeah.
beer.
Exactly. Why
Like
not?
just let that just be total fun because at some point you're gonna have to make us cry because somebody's losing that we don't want to lose
Yeah.
at Mania. So I'm saying, man, like, what do you
Yeah.
think though?
I think
Do you like is he working? Do you like the idea of if it turning into a storyline regardless if it was at first or if it turned into
I
it?
I definitely like the idea of it turning into a storyline. I think it ends up. Here's the thing, with all the tweets he's been putting out and everything, it's very fun that it's blurring the line of kayfabe and reality, right? Well, it's just kayfabe, right? But if it ends up being a story where he gets like he is cleared and can come back to the ring, even if it's just for like one night only, I think it'd still be fun. And then it just goes right back to being commentary, you know? He goes, look, if this isn't real, yeah, maybe they spin it that his grievances are more towards the fact that, he's been working his ass off on the desk on Monday Night Raw and people love him. And then Pat comes back because they need Pat for Netflix Raw, to be a big show. And they go, and you can't keep me there too? Why? We can't do a three-man or something? Really?
Too chaotic. I get it.
Yeah, too
I get
chaotic.
it.
I
I'm
get
so
it,
glad
but
we
it's
moved.
like you're just
I'm
gonna,
glad we moved it
yeah.
back.
But it's like
It does suck.
yeah, it does suck. But it can be spun into Corey being like, look, I don't have anything against Michael Cole. I don't have anything against that. I just have shit against Pat McAfee. And then later you find out Corey's clear. They have a fun little match, and then everyone's like, all right, cool, back to work.
And then Pat leaves still at football season, so you
Yep.
gotta still wait for Corey till September.
Yeah, exactly. So
So that's interesting. We will see where that leads. Besides this, I was watching last week's SmackDown because I watched pretty much everything, at least
yeah,
kind of
I
last week.
caught
I was
up on
watching a
last
lot.
week's
I watched
SmackDown
a
because
lot last week. I didn't watch Dynamite all this week. I think I caught some of NXT yesterday. What did I do
I caught
yesterday? No, I didn't. I
Uh,
didn't catch any of
the Bailey
NXT. So.
Roxanne feud was probably the big talking point. Oba cut a great promo about being NXT champion and what it means for his career and how he is destined to be, the next big thing in the
Yeah.
WWE. My favorite bit, he was talking about how, it was his destiny to win the breakout tournament. It was his destiny to win the North American title. It was his destiny to be the longest reigning North American champion. And now finally, it all comes to a halt.
The biggest
Where
of
it is the
destinies.
biggest of destinies to become the NXT champion. So I'm expecting a very fun reign from Oba for the next
Oba's gonna work for the next year. He's gonna work
year
for the
probably.
next year.
Yeah.
We're gonna like that.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he shows up in the Rumble too.
I did actually watch this week's NXT.
There you go.
Yesterday was not Tuesday. So besides that, and there was a SmackDown about a week ago,
Yep.
and wow, there was a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, there really was, wasn't there?
Wow, three
Yeah,
hours with that roster.
yeah,
Oof.
yeah.
Yike.
Besides the usual Cody KO thing, like what
Well, and then
else?
it just got twisted into Cody doing more bloodline things, going back to
Yeah,
hang out with Jimmy Uso again.
yeah.
Like, all right, bro. Like, so, and they had like four segments, man. They had like backstages and like in ring segments. It dragged. It went to the back. It went in the crowd. Like, they was doing whatever the goddamn they wanted.
The tag division too is just like I want to love it more, but as much as I love
I love that
Moxley
the tag
Machine
teams are
Guns,
getting shine. I
yeah, oh,
also
they're
kind of liked
getting
it. I like this cute little storyline too, where they're like, no, no, dude, like everybody's trying to like play each other. It's
yeah.
very much like all like mind games, and I think that's very fun. I think it's very fun to watch them all kind of say, well, he said this, they said that, no, they did that. Like
Yeah, it's like, oh, but
I
they
think
did
that's
that,
funny.
but they do. I'm on to you,
And the matches are fine, and
Yeah, the matches
as
are
long
fine.
as Motor City Machine
Um,
Guns don't talk, good lord, just don't
they
let them
really
talk,
still.
man.
I love that team with all my heart. They're like one of my favorite tag teams of all time. But oh my god, when Saban and Shelley speak, they still sound like 2007, 2008
My
TNA Saban and
my
Shelley.
ears hurt listening to their promos. Like they're the kind of indie yelling that's bad. It's not Punk because Punk yells too, but
Right, but Punk's got like Punk yells in a cohesive manner.
yeah, no, they're
Yeah.
bad. They can't cut a promo. They need to stop or get a
Yeah, it
man's
is.
because
Their promos are still very much indie, but yeah, they're great workers. When they're in the ring, it's fun. We enjoy it. The women's division on SmackDown
Chelsea beat
was
Michin
yes, Chelsea did beat Michin. Longest reigning women's U.S. champ. Remember
3 weeks,
that? It's
4 weeks, a month,
somewhere like that in a month now. I don't remember.
30 days.
Good job, Chelsea.
Good job, Chelsea.
Good job, Chelsea. And then the women's world title scene there. Obviously, Tiffany has cashed in her money in the bank. So she cut a promo being like, it's Tiffy time, bitches. Ha ha ha. Which, like, love that she's champ. Great. And then Nia Jax gets involved being like, you little shit. Which they didn't censor. Thanks, Netflix. Bailey comes out. Yada, yada, yada. Blah, 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 blah. Jargon. Bianca and Naomi come out. They're talking about, hey, we want a shot too. And they're like, fuck it. Fatal four way right now. Winner gets Stephanie next
Ball
week.
away.
Bailey wins in what was this honestly fun match for the most part.
Bailey really just got to just ask
Yeah.
for every belt, and somebody finally bit.
Yep. Pretty much.
They were like, yeah, sure.
They're like, all right, fine. You've done more than enough for us. We owe you one or two. So here you go.
We didn't have a plan. There's Rumbles in February now, so
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. They're like, all right, we got more time. We got a little more time to kill.
Little more time.
So here we
So
are.
that was basically SmackDown. SmackDown really wasn't all that interesting. It flowed, like it like didn't
Yeah.
feel long, but it was just like I was like we're doing a whole lot of nothing right now,
Not a
right? We
lot right now. Yeah.
whole lot of nothing.
Well, yeah,
So
unfortunately, the only thing that would keep SmackDown afloat right now is the main event scene. But again, everything is revolving around the guy on Raw with the Ula Fala.
yup.
So, yeah.
No Rock this week. We're just gonna chill out until we kind of learn more about all of that stuff.
Yeah.
At this point now, we're kind of also not acknowledging any of that.
No, actually, on the
We're
topic of
over it
that,
apparently.
I did want to mention something on lack of acknowledgement. So Bianca and Naomi come out for this women's segment, right? I like that they're just not acknowledging that Jade is still gone.
No, they are.
Are they? Did
They
I miss
are.
that? I might have missed that then. Okay.
They are.
Okay.
Because they'll be like, oh, we still don't know who even took out
Jade.
Jade.
Right.
So
It was Naomi. Probably.
duh,
Duh.
she needs a win, bro. She needs a win.
Yeah.
The Rumble is currently 3 weeks away.
It is.
1, 2, 3. Yep.
Is it 3 weeks?
There are two Saturday. There are like you got to get. It's the 18th right now. Next Saturday is not it. 2 weeks, I guess.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure what this card is because it's Saturday night's main event. So I guess that means it's just the Rumbles and KO and Cody. That's all we got right now.
I assume there's going to be at least one other match.
There's gonna be something, but
It's going to
we
be
gotta fill Saturday night's main
4.
event, and also
Yeah,
we want everybody to be in the rumbles.
maybe like one of the women's world titles. Maybe.
So this also, um, I'm gonna hold off on some of those Royal Rumble predictions. I also really have no idea who's winning this Royal Rumble. I really don't
No,
know.
I want to save this
I
for
want to
when we have
believe I
Ty.
know, but I really don't.
Right, and I want to save that conversation for when Ty's here. But you know, this year's Rumble is still 2 weeks away, but is looking to be maybe the most stacked it's been in quite some time. Rollins, McIntyre, Punk, Cena, Roman are all going to be in the Royal Rumble this year.
There's at least 10 slots that are taken by some powerhouses, and all of them
Yeah,
could win. I don't think Drew's like I think you can take Drew out of there pretty quick. Seth is an option.
yeah,
Punk is an option.
yeah. Cena's
Cena's an option.
Cena's a big option.
Roman's
Roman's an
an
option.
option. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like I want to believe I can make a prediction, but I can't. I can't.
Yeah, I think, if you asked us last week or even before the new year started, who would you want to win the Rumble? The answer would be one of maybe like two, maybe three people, maybe four, right? But now that all these big main event, like, you know, as you said, powerhouse names are in the Rumble, it could be anybody this year. It really could be anybody.
It's open for interpretation.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Because what's nice too is, every now and then going into the Rumble, you kind of see like who's world champ, and you go, okay, you kind of have an idea of what that's gonna be, like who's gonna be fighting for that come Mania time, meaning who's gonna win the Rumble, who might win the Chamber, and it also depends on who's holding it. But with Cody holding the belt and with Gunther holding the world title belt, it is truly just up for interpretation. Like it could be anybody. We could have, Punk Gunther. We could have Punk Cody. We could have Roman Cody 3. I don't think they're going to do that this year, though. I don't know. But we could have Cena versus whoever the hell he wants, right? Like, there are a myriad of options. And that's going to make this year so much more fun when the Rumble happens. Also, not a prediction, but just something that I know will happen. When Roman Reigns enters that ring, everyone that he has ever wronged will go after him. Meaning everybody.
Everyone's gonna jump him. I hope he gets
Everyone's
jumped.
gonna
That'll
jump
be
him.
interesting.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting, and I hope Paul Heyman kind of sees it and just goes,
No!
"My tribal chief."
My tribal chief! No!
On a completely unrelated note, I want to. Oof.
Oof.
Paul Heyman had a really good interview on a certain podcast.
How was that? I didn't watch it yet. I've seen
It was quite good.
Yeah.
I made it most of the way through. I think there was a couple of minutes left that I had not listened to. It was pretty good, man. I'm not gonna hold you. Like I like listening to Heyman talk. There was some interesting perspectives on things that we have heard before. There's some interesting perspectives on some things that we haven't heard before. Um, I like that Paul Heyman now is a lot more arrogant about how fucking good he is. He always knew he was good, but like I feel like somewhere in that like 13, 14, 15 range, somewhere around where he was doing all those interviews the first time around, where it seemed like he was a little bit more bashful about it. This time he's just like, nah, man, I know I'm not fucking good. He's really fucking elevated himself in this whole second run. This whole second run is insane. So I mean, great interview. Seth Rollins also had a really good interview with Chris Van Vliet.
That is a great interview.
I guess the complaint, I don't know what the rest of the internet says, but the complaint from me was always that he kind of sounds salty all the time. He's salty.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. We kind of, not that we've always known that about Seth, but you always, every now and then you'll hear like, oh, Seth Rollins backstage politicking, or he's mad about this, or blah, 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 blah. And the Chris Van Vliet interview kind of helped solidify that, because there's the moments he's talking about, like with Cody winning the world title, and he goes,
Him being
"Yeah,
like, yeah, I was a little salty.
it was a little salty." He was basically like, "Yeah, I was really fucking salty about that." Like, yeah, Cody got back like 2 years prior, and they put him in that spot. And I've worked hard. Did I mention I've worked my ass off for this company? Could have been me.
Seth Rollins
No,
is Vegeta.
he really is Vegeta, isn't he?
Like, just
Yeah.
I've never. I only know the it should have been me. Like
Yeah,
Seth
no, he.
Rollins, like Vegeta's like the younger character who should get more, but isn't because he's younger
Well, I think the thing with Seth
or whatever,
is
right?
Vegeta is
Either
like,
way,
yeah,
Seth
partly
just
that, and also,
he
Seth Rollins is, for the last 10 years, has done the most in this company. He's done a lot, right?
absolutely he's put
Post
everything
Shield,
up.
he's done everything, right?
He's done it all.
But even through all that, he's gotten everything he wanted. He still wants more. He just still wants it. He wants to be the
He
guy.
wants to be that, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, he's not that, and that sucks.
Mm.
That sucks. But I get it, man. Especially, like you didn't come up with the storyline for the Bloodline. Like
Yeah.
like Roman had actual creative parts in that. Like
Yeah.
you didn't come up with anything that good. Like, and not that his stuff sucks. And we love when he's like Joker Seth when he's
Right.
but you didn't hold it, man. Like the guy held our attention for
Yeah,
all
that's the
through
thing at the
COVID.
end of the
Like
day, right?
for
It's like
2 years, he held
Seth,
us down, and
yeah,
then
like
you know,
Seth through all the world title runs that he's had pre-COVID. Cool, Seth Rollins is champ. Oh my god, hooray, yeah. Or like when he was a heel and won the title. Oh my god, heel. We don't like Seth, but he's champ. Awesome, right? When he won the world title, in that match against AJ to crown the first ever new world heavyweight champ, I'm not gonna lie. I was at first like, okay, sick, and then after a while, I'm like, wait, is he still holding the fucking belt? Because he had some great matches here and there, but nothing between the matches
yeah, I was gonna say I
kept
don't
me
really remember none of
occupied.
it. I really don't remember anything up until about Gunther or not Gunther. Up until about Jinder, and then I
Yeah,
remember his run through WrestleMania, and then he lost, and I was like, oh, okay,
no,
like that's all I remember. And
no,
that's fine. But I do appreciate that we always saw the belt. I
right.
like know that these are the
It was
things
there. He
that
was there.
happened.
Yeah. Whereas
Um,
but just the character of Seth Rollins just doesn't have that same it factor that Roman did.
it doesn't,
No,
and that's it's just what it is, man.
that's
It's
just
just
how
what
it
people
is. Right?
gravitate
Exactly. Yeah.
to. Luck of the draw, and that's all luck. You could do everything right, which he honestly did. Seth Rollins has done everything right,
Yeah. It's just luck
and
of the
it's
draw.
just luck.
So on the
It's
topic of luck of the draw, and I want to ask
I was gonna
this.
say
Oh, what do you
one other
got?
thing about this.
Okay.
If I fuck.
I might have derailed him. Oh no.
Oh damn. Go ahead, say your thing.
No. Okay, maybe you'll remember later. It's fine. Um, the Chris Van Vliet has just released 2 interviews with the Hardys.
I remember.
Okay, what is it?
This Seth Rollins interview with Van Vliet is a carbon copy with some of his complaining that he did with Ariel Helwani when Ariel Helwani got his run back in before Mania in Dallas, Texas.
What is that? 38.
Yeah,
Yeah. Huh.
because the year after that it was I think it was Sam Roberts or somebody. Like
Right.
somebody always gets
Okay.
a run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um.
Huh.
Anyway, that's what I was gonna say. This is like a carbon copy.
Interesting. I gotta check. I don't think I've heard that Helwani interview. I gotta check that
It was
out.
good.
Yeah.
He had a bunch of them. Like when he had like a whole stint of them. It was
Okay.
like Triple H, CM, or not CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Heyman might have gotten one.
Mm.
They were cool.
Okay. Nice. Gotta check that
He's a
out.
great interviewer.
He is a great interviewer. But
So
Van
luck.
Vliet had really luck at the end of the day. Speaking of luck, so Van Vliet did a couple interviews with the Hardy Brothers, with the Hardy Boys recently, and there was an article going around of a different interview with Jeff, where Jeff had Jeff had stated, had he lived his life a little differently back in the day, like in the mid to late 2000s, and wasn't on drugs all the damn time and getting caught with DUIs and shit, he would have been as big as John Cena, if not bigger.
So Jeff was nuclear fucking hot.
Oh yeah,
That's just what it was. That's just what it was. Cena at the time had come back at the Rumble,
to the
but in that
craziest
2000,
top.
but that 2008 year wasn't his year. He lost at
No,
WrestleMania. He didn't really get that big of a pop at WrestleMania. He didn't really have anything going on. He got in this weird Mickey James feud that I somehow have
Oh yeah,
ingrained
I
in my
forgot
head
about that.
because he's
Wow.
always drinking 5 hour energy. And and then he got put in a feud with the Miz around this time too. The first version of him and Miz, which would then get run back again in 2009. So Cena really wasn't doing anything in 2008. Meanwhile, Jeff was on a meteoric rise. He opened the year fighting Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Then he was on drugs, so he got the
Yes.
miss. So he missed Mania.
And
He
then he
comes
had
back, and then he's winning
multiple world
these
title
IC
shots.
titles.
Yeah.
And he won the IC title back. Had a banger with Umaga.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Eddie Fatu. Um, at One Night Stand 2008, a banger of a match. And no, everything was looking up. He got drafted to SmackDown. He started
He
fighting for
started.
the WWE title. Triple
Yeah.
H is over
Had
there.
some banger
He's
matches with Triple H for those.
he's working with some young talent in people like MVP and Vladimir Kozlov and all the other people who were kind of in that scene at that time.
Yep.
And just really stepping up, and he's getting these amazing pops on SmackDown that you never even had to edit. Like SmackDown
Yeah.
all the time had edits. You didn't have to touch these. These people were going nuts
They're
for him.
just going crazy. Yeah.
Um,
It's a different kind of. It's something since you bring up Cena and the Rumble when he returned in 2008. I was listening to the Wrestle Talk boys recently. They were doing a list of their favorite Rumble wins and their least favorite Rumble wins, and I can't remember which list they had Cena on, but at some point they were talking about how Cena comes back and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Cena's back! Whoa, yeah!" But then as he's back, you start to hear like a bit of silence in the fans because then they realize, "Wait, we don't like you! Boo, boo!" Right? Like
they
it just
do
turns
flip
around.
really
Yeah,
fast, and he
they
kind of
flip
gets these
really
weird.
fast.
And this is kind of where these weird reactions start coming in. They're not,
Right?
and this is right before they kind of start mentioning it and making it kind of the Super Cena character of it all.
Yeah,
So this is that weird
but
hybrid time where Cena's leaving that like real military like
yeah, that whole
guy,
I'm
the
the
whole
Marine, if you
that the
will.
Marine,
Yeah,
and he's transitioning into the guy we all know, the guy that we all love to hate, the guy that we
yeah.
loved to love, the guy, um, uh, the attitude adjustment,
The
John
dude,
Cena,
yeah.
the
Whereas
guy.
you look at Jeff and like I remember watching Survivor Series 2008. The main event was supposed to be a triple threat of Edge, or sorry, not Edge. It was Triple H, Vladimir Kozlov, and Jeff Hardy for the WWE title. But Jeff was attacked backstage and couldn't make the match, so Edge ran in and won the match instead and won the title. And everyone's like, "Oh no!" And then Armageddon happens, and Jeff gets put into that match to make it a triple threat again. It's Edge, Triple H, Jeff, and
Matt.
I will never forget this night in for the rest of my life. When Jeff gets that 3 count, that pop, that crowd was just just erupted, right? She just went crazy. Every week that Jeff showed up on TV with the world title, everyone was going crazy. His first SmackDown as WWE champion, they went like above and beyond to be like, this guy is the guy now. And all the fans went, fuck yeah, he's going to be the guy for a long time. And then he
Hold
wasn't.
hold on.
Oh,
So this is where we have to start to get real, right? This is where we have
yes.
to come back to reality. We love Jeff Hardy. We adore Jeff Hardy. We love that 2008-9 or like that. That's it. That's it. That's that. But at the end of the day, he's not doing what John Cena did. He wasn't going to do
No,
it.
no.
No one was going to do it. And that's just what it is. Very few people handle that schedule. Cody's doing it right now, and you can tell he's in it. And the amount of time that Cena did it for has to be talked about, right? That like he ran that schedule into the ground.
Yeah. He ran into the ground
and we know Cody's not doing it for that long. Like we know
No.
no one can do that. Like that is a very special thing,
Yeah.
and it's very hard to find. And all credit to Jeff Hardy and all the things that we love, but
Yeah.
nah.
But I think even through all that, it's like, it's hard. It's easy to get to the top. It's hard to stay on top, right? John Cena knew that, and when he got to the top, he made sure he did everything he damn well could to stay at the top, running their insane schedule, doing all the meet and greets, all the outside of WWE stuff, or outside of the ring stuff rather, that it takes to stay as the big guy of the company.
There are future faces of this company that will never understand
Yeah,
that schedule
that magnitude of that schedule.
at
Yeah.
all.
Nope.
At all. They'll just come. They'll go PC. They'll train. They'll learn. They'll
They
go
go
to
to the
NXT.
show.
They'll do the
Yep.
thing. They'll do the thing. They'll do minimum. They will not wrestle 300 times a year, like
No.
a lot of our guys now know. Even the guys right after them are already less,
Yeah.
and then it's just gonna, you know,
Yeah,
it's gonna turn into boxing real quick.
They're not gonna exactly. They're not gonna understand that insane schedule of everything you have to do if you worked in WWE during Cena's time. And I think that's what keeps Cena apart from everyone else. And with Jeff,
Jeff wouldn't have done that.
probably not.
I don't see
Probably
that.
not.
And certainly not to that magnitude. He wouldn't have taken it global like that.
Yeah, that's
He
the
wouldn't
other
have been
thing
this
too. Right? At the
international
end of the
guy.
day,
He
could
wouldn't
he
have
have
been in all these movies. He wouldn't have done all
Yeah.
that. It's not what he was doing. Cena was always business and entertainment
Yeah.
while loving professional wrestling. I believe Cena loves professional wrestling. No fucking doubt about it.
Right.
He wouldn't have stayed.
No.
He would have been Dwayne.
He would have dipped by now. Yeah.
So like, but I know that Jeff Hardy was a wrestler.
Yeah.
So not the same thing. Wouldn't have been the same.
Not at all.
Good try though, Jeff. You were over as all hell though.
He was over as all hell, and people still talk about when he left WWE in 2009 in that loser leaves WWE or SmackDown
And then
cage match
CM
with
Punk,
Punk.
and then CM Punk came out the next week dressed like Jeff
Dressed
Hardy,
like dressed as Jeff, yeah.
and he did a really good impersonation.
He did, yeah,
because he
Punk-
tricked people.
Yeah, and, I think now that the TNA thing has been announced with WWE, I think a lot of people are hoping just not a Jeff Hardy run, but I think it'd be fun.
Jeff almost followed that too. Like it was really like
Yeah.
never like it's kind of cool. It's always kind of cool when it never really actually happens because it's like damn man. But then
But we haven't had a never in
don't
a
have it.
while. No.
I don't think there's ever been a never. Ric Flair wants to wrestle again.
Yeah.
This is the year. This is the bi-monthly time where Ric Flair tweets that he wants to
Decides
wrestle
that I
again.
want to wrestle again. Yeah, that oh well.
No hype into that stock.
No,
There's no hype into
not
that
at
stock.
all.
No one's buying it. No one's believing it. No one cares.
no one.
It's funny
Not
though,
even.
that.
I don't think anyone would want to touch that with a fucking 10-foot pole.
He won't,
You know?
Never mind. We're not doing that.
No, we're not.
We're not
So-
doing that.
No, no one should be. And with that, I think this is where we can wrap. Probably.
I think so too. Do we do
Yeah.
a best in wrestling? Are we doing that now?
Do you want to do a best in wrestling with Ty not here? It feels weird when Ty's not here.
Feels like the inmates have been running the asylum.
It really is. No, it doesn't feel like it. It is the inmates running the asylum.
No, fuck you. We're not doing that shit.
All right,
Bye.
go Lions.
Oh wait, we hold on. This is that we do have new stuff. So go follow us on Kick. I believe it on Kickout Wrestling. I believe it's K1.
Yeah, it's a 1 instead of an I because
Other than that?
Kickout was taken. Yeah, so go follow us
It's all
on
yep,
Twitter
Go follow us on everything.
and TikTok, Kickout Club Wrestling, and YouTube. You know where to find us. Subscribe,
Also-
like, Spotify, listen to us. Please tell your
Go
friends.
birds.
And go Lions.
Go birds.
Go Lions.
Birds.
Lions.